Hey, we're recording. I got it right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. This is Hobby Hotline. Let me get the banner up here. Joined today with the King NASCAR. Logan, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Doing great. And of course, Jeff.
How you doing, man? Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yes. Get up here. Yeah. If you folks are in the chat, welcome. This is show 128. And the scrolling bar there, if you want to join the show, it's in the comments.
Yep. Good morning, Texas Car Dude and Jenny Miller. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? And anything new in the hobby? Anybody wants to talk about in the chat? I know we have a couple of things that we want to talk about, or that we think everybody would want to talk about. But I know one that is kind of I don't know, Logan, to bring this up or not. It's a little salt in the wound. But the former mail carrier admits to stealing cars instead of delivering them.
And they're saying over $20,000, I think, was a mark. Wasn't it like 20,000? There was a dollar mark, I believe, that was in there, or maybe not just the one, but maybe they're saying there could be, numerous adding up to or totaling $20,000. I mean, isn't stealing mail a federal crime?
Yeah,
It
that's what
is.
I was. That's what I was going to say. I mean, there's crimes and there's federal crimes, right?
Right.
And this is more egregious than just stealing. So, I mean,
Right.
especially from a mail carrier who is trusted or supposed to be trusted. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. The article says
For
$40,000 in cards,
40,000. Wow.
and at least 94 cards were stolen. So that's a pretty big haul. That's not a good thing. For me personally, this really hits home. We can talk about that in a few minutes, but I just it's pretty sad. It really is. We just keep getting these sad stories and these bad stories every week. It seems like these days.
My question is though, if it was 40 up to $40,000 worth of cards, even 20,000, even 5,000, right? How how could this not have been caught on or ever caught? Like, or how did it take this long? I mean, I know they have to investigate and look into things, but you would think that's a 9,400 cards, like unless it was only like a couple transactions and it was a ton of cards in boxes shipped USPS, at one time. That's got to be probably thousands of separate mail day transactions, right? People would be reporting this stuff. People would be going, "What's going on?" People
Mm-hmm.
would be going, "I'm not getting my cards." I mean, it just seems like that number and that amount of cards, if it's one individual person, one carrier from one location, you would think they would catch on to this a little. I mean,
You would think.
right.
Let me tell you. I'll try to keep this short. There was a card. It's a 1989 Winter Circle card that both Val and I have been looking for literally for 30 years. Okay. One
Okay.
of them popped up on eBay. I finally reached a deal with the guy. It was like $1,500, and it was in an SGC holder. So he sent it to me. I got it. I called Steve Sloan at PSA. He said, "Hey, this is what I got. Can you guys do this?" He said, "Yeah, send it." So I sent it to PSA. It got graded. Val and I, at the time, literally were at the NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony when all this was going down. And I got my notification that I got my grades and it had shipped and it was on the way. So I'm tracking this thing, and I see all the steps. It's coming. It's coming. Finally, the day that it's supposed to come to me, it says out for delivery. I'm going to get it today. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It never shows up. I never get it. I went to the post office, talked to them about it. Just give it a few days. I gave it a few days. Nothing. Went up there. They gave me the number to the inspector, the postal inspector. Called the postal inspector, and it was like, and I'm telling you the God's honest truth here. It was like if it completely fell on deaf ears. No one cared. It just kind of just faded off into the sunset. Nobody, tried to call me to follow up or to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So to me, there was no accountability whatsoever. It's like, okay, this card was literally on this person's truck, and it never showed being delivered anywhere or anything. It just disappeared.
Have you guys? I've had this happen too with packages. I've literally tracked packages like through eBay and then tracking on UPS or whatever, and it'll say the day, like the day it's supposed to be delivered. It'd say it's supposed to be delivered the day. It'll say like delivered in post mailbox or whatever. It won't be there, right? And then I'll wait a day just to see, and then the next day's mail, it'll be in there. So I don't know if there's some quirky things too going on there, but it'll literally say it was delivered in post mailbox or whatever. There'll be a note there. It will not be in that mail. And then I'll wait a day or so, and then the next day it'll be in there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I tell you, I had a little issue too, not to like go off and go on our postal service or USPS, but I went into the post office a couple weeks ago, and I had reused one of the postal boxes, not the priority boxes, because it was a different size, different thing, but it's those boxes that they actually sell in the post office, right? But they always, at least at our post offices around here, you wouldn't even be able to walk in. Like, you know how they have it open 24 hours where you can walk in and like drop off stuff if you do your own labels, like most of us probably do that are in the hobby to save on time and money. They have a spot where you can, they have an area where they have like gift wrap, different size boxes you can buy, packaging tape, etc. Well, number one, that stuff's all gated if they're not open. Like, there's no way you can, unless you were to break through the gate, and there's cameras everywhere in that place. So I reused a USPS box that was not a priority box, but it was one of those that a fellow in Ohio had racked me. We actually do a big fundraiser for him every year for Crohn's and colitis. He had sent me a package with a blaster and some PC cards in this box. I reused that box to send out a package for someone else. You could already tell it was reused. I actually put a label on it. There was tape, like old tape all everywhere, right, on it, whatever. I literally walk in the post office because it was a box, so I had to wait until someone was there to have them scan it, scan the label, whatever. When I get to the front counter, the lady's like, did you pay for this box? And I was like, what? Excuse me? She's like, and they saw me walk right in the door. Did you pay for this box? I said, no, I'm reusing this box. This box was originally mailed to me. I now am reusing it. It's relabeled. You can tell it's been relabeled. If you pull this label off that I put on here, you're going to see that there's a label with tape over it from Ohio, shipped from Ohio to me. And they're kind of like leery, like they don't want to do anything. And like the other lady's looking at me and I go, you guys have cameras everywhere in this place, right? Why don't you go ahead and roll the cameras for the last year or whatever, however long you want to see, and see if I came in here and grabbed one of these boxes, because I can guarantee you this thing came from Ohio. Pretty much almost made me feel like I stole from the post office. And they're like, well, we have people come in all the time that just, I'm like, how could people just come in and grab them? I get it when you're open, but you always have 2 or 3 or 4 people at the counter and you're facing right at that. How could you not see that, or somebody pay attention or see that if somebody was just grabbing boxes where the thing is actually locked up? So I don't know. I mean, I miss the old days. I miss the old good customer service days at the post office. I think we all miss that just about anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. Just a little side note. Didn't make me feel too good. Made me feel like I didn't want to go to that particular post office anymore. I'll drive a little bit if I have to. So
yeah, that's sad, man.
It's like the box was in too good a shape that they realized they thought it was new.
But it in reality, it even wasn't. I mean, that's the funny thing. And if you pulled my label off, there would have been label from Ohio to me to Minnesota with tape all over it. You know what I mean? Like they taped over it to protect it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, going back to what I was saying about what happened to me, I guess the biggest thing for me about all of that was the lack of accountability. And it's like, okay, if there's no accountability, then it's like the Wild West. Just, I mean, you carrier, I guess, can do what they want. I mean,
Yep.
if they're not going to go back on them and check on that and say, hey, why didn't you deliver this and what happened to this? Because it was
Right.
insured from PSA, and of course, somebody wrote me a check. I got a check. I mean, I'd much rather have the card,
Right.
but it just that's the problem that I think we have is it's like, okay, well, there's no accountability, so I'm just going to do whatever, you know.
Yep.
I'm not going to say somebody's, I'm not going to imply somebody's stealing something, but that leaves that door open for somebody to do something that may not be legal.
Correct.
it
Yep.
was really bad about your situation, Logan, and I know, but it's the white whale, right? It
Yep.
was one that we have not seen or seen again, and I don't
Only
know if we'll
one.
ever see it. Those were made as a sample to show NASCAR what the '89 Winter Circle was going to look like, and they loved it. But they said that on the back of the Lee Petty card that it only said statistics, and they wanted, okay, we need to put NASCAR stats statistics on the back. So there's only a handful of those original ones, and they never come up. Like Logan said, it's been 30 something years, and we just saw that one. So for that the one to be to be
Right.
gone, and I think Logan had said before that he checks eBay all the time. So I don't know if this thing will ever um,
Come around again.
or be found.
Yeah.
And it was lost, especially since it was out for delivery.
Right.
Yep. So it's a sad story. In fact, I even told my son, I said, well, the burden's on you now to find that card for when I'm gone, because I don't think I'm going to be here in another 30 years.
Right. Oh, it's sad, man. It's sad.
And I know I'm not the only one that has problems like that. And, Jeff, you were talking about a while ago, getting the confirmation that something had been
Yep.
delivered and not getting it to the next day. That has happened to me several times. In fact,
Yep.
it happened to me not too long ago with a Richard Petty autograph, and it was literally a week later when it finally showed up.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. I mean, it makes us start thinking. So then what do we, so what do we do? And everybody's got a different process, right? Everybody's mind's thinking differently, each and every person. So what? That tracking is not set up right. So now some of us are putting in a request and going or freaking out and going, where's my card at the seller? And maybe it has nothing to do with the seller because it's the carrier, whoever, or the tracking. And maybe we're throwing bad feedback at somebody and it has really literally nothing to do with them, but depending upon the person and how their thought processes are, I mean, it's not good, especially a week later. I mean, I'll usually give something a day or so and just see if it straightens out or whatnot. But I would think, even honestly, Logan, at about 4 or 5 days, if it said it'd been delivered, I'd be going to the post office. I'd be figuring out, which they probably wouldn't be much help, and then I'd probably be going to the seller and going, hey, what's going on here? So, did you give me a bogus tracking or what?
Did they say if this person was sentenced or anything, or just admits to stealing them? There's no penalty.
I think. Well, I haven't had enough time to read a ton into it, but what I heard is, from what I've been hearing, is like some probation, suspension. I don't know. I think it's, from what it sounds like, it's, at least from what I've heard, it's more like a slap in the wrist type deal.
Well, it
Which
says in the
crazy.
article that he is subject to up to 5 years in federal prison without parole.
Oh,
So maybe he will go to prison for that. And from what it said, it looks like this was happening from 2018 to 2021. So
wow.
he's been doing it a while. But it's just like what you said, Jeff. If they're getting enough reports, it's like, hey, maybe we need to look into this and see what's going on.
Right.
But
Exactly.
so now, is the post office using some kind of big data or something to be able to tell or be able to collate these reports, right? So is it up to the postmaster and for them to connect the dots that it's happening on these routes and this person is, with those routes, or because we know the post office is kind of archaic and I'm sure their
Well,
problem solving is
the thing
archaic as
is,
well.
like, if it was all him, or if it was that many from him, and there was enough reports, each postal worker, typically that postal worker only has you. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been a carrier myself, but I'm pretty sure you usually see the same carrier, right? You usually have the same postmaster, unless they're sick or off a day or something. You might see a different face here or there, but they're usually covering a certain area, and I think they usually cover that area almost daily, like whatever days they work, right? So you would think, like, I mean, over a course of a little bit of time, that connecting the dots, that hey, all these people are reporting they're not getting their packages. This is all the same carrier. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe
yeah,
not.
and that '70s car show was saying, was it a mail carrier or someone at the distribution center, right? So a distribution center would be a lot harder to
The 70s card show, the government just raided Logan. Just a comical.
yeah, yeah. The government has taken Logan's feed. So yeah, so love the
shit.
post office. The U.S. government is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my
it's a
goodness.
good Saturday morning jiggle. Good
Oh my
times.
goodness. Yeah. It's
Had to
hard to
be
beat.
at the distributor center. No way. One route in a town. Yeah, yeah, Jenny, you're right. It's probably not the carrier. It's at the distribution center. But how could they not? Do they not have like a million cameras in the distribution center? That's why I would think it would be an actual carrier.
Well, well, Jeff, I'll say you can have all the cameras in the world, but is anybody looking at them?
No. I know. I get that. But at the end of the day, like, again, these things start getting reported. We're talking a 3-year span here, right? People are
Yeah,
going to
no.
start reporting they didn't get their stuff, right after they don't get it. They keep reporting, they keep reporting, they keep reporting. I mean, man, at some point obviously the criminal is the criminal, but then there's got to be some also accountability here on this post office, because unless nobody reported anything for years and then they just all came in at the same time and now they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna backtrack and look at the cameras and look at and try to figure this out if it was at the distribution center. To me, it seems crazy to go on that long.
Damn,
The
but carriers
carrier's
putting
always
mail.
putting my mail in my neighbor's mailbox.
Now I had
Yeah.
that happen to me. I don't know if it was a ComC, but luckily I got it. We where I'm at, we have like a main area where everybody's mail comes in, and I noticed, and there's extra keys they leave in your mailbox for you to get extra packages. So I don't know if I had a key in mine, but it was for something else that my wife had gotten. But then I noticed his other door that was open and had a box in it. It was a ComC box, and I looked at it like, that's my package because I was expecting it. So it was kind of weird. And yeah, if your neighbor gets it or something, do they let you know or not or what? I guess it all depends on how friendly you are with your
The
neighbor.
70s has just got him going on this morning. But he's got a serious question here first, but then we got to get to his humor. The 70s card show, I can appreciate your comments this morning, man. You're making me laugh, and I need good laughs, like literally. So he says, curious as to whether any sector of shipping get hammered this way. Is someone poaching Avon and Amway? I mean, I'm sure. And those big other makeup companies, or whatever people are into and collect and whatever, that there's tons and tons of product being shipped out,
All the
I'm
Ulta
sure.
shipments.
But then he said, because he was talking about it goes to Canton's neighbors, he said you should see Canton's neighbors card collection. It's out of this world because it gets put in the wrong box.
Yeah, it must be. As a Logan's neighbor must be doing real
That's
well.
great. That's great.
I guess as long as I guess if they collect the same
Yeah.
sort. So look,
Maybe they can do a
Logan's.
little trade once a month.
Yeah. So say I think Logan sent me a message that his internet
There he is.
Yeah. So we were
There
thinking
he
maybe
is.
it's the government,
Hey,
the post office
Logan.
pulled your plug.
Yeah.
Did you see that comment? Looks like the government raided Logan
They
or
got me.
something.
How timely.
Yeah. So on his way to Siberia, and the re-education camp. So,
Thanks, John.
Oh man, I
love
love
that.
it. I
oh
love it.
man.
I do. Hey, I do like John's comment. Um, what did he say?
This says, hang on though. Hey, before you say it, if the article is correct, like the title we have, did it say that he admitted to not delivering them? Because if it was admitting to not delivering them, he would be a carrier then. It wouldn't be the distribution center. See in our title?
Yeah. No, that is the title that I got
That's the
from
title. So
Sports
it
Card
had to have
Daily.
been
Yeah.
an actual carrier. If he's admitting to not delivering them, he had to be a carrier, right? In a distribution center, it'd be someone admitting to taking them, when they're not sorting. He's an actual carrier that would be someone who would deliver to. So it would have to be a carrier.
Yeah. So he said that it's a mailman. It's in Kansas City. So the collector who sent cards he sold to another person in Kansas City last summer wondered why his packages, complete with tracking, turned up missing last summer. Federal prosecutors say it was because a mailman opted to steal them. In federal court Thursday, that former U.S. Postal Service employee pleaded guilty to federal information, charging him with mail theft. He's 26 of Richmond, Montana, is charged with stealing numerous cards worth about $40,000 during a 3-month spree. 3 month.
Dang.
He stole
That's getting
94
ready to red
cards. He stole 94 cards and other items from the mail from April to June of 21 instead of delivering them to customers. So it was a mail carrier. So he worked at the U.S. Postal Service from 2018 to 2021. So he'd
Right,
been
so
there a
he
few
worked there.
years,
Right.
but this is all
3
between
months span.
those months. Yeah. In June of last year, a customer filed a report indicating that he had mailed a Kevin Durant card valued at basically $2,000 to a customer, but the card never arrived. The customer also provided the tracking number and serial numbers for additional cards that were never delivered. And the special agent from the USPS Office of Inspector General found 4 of the missing sports cards at a hobby shop in nearby Gladstone. Surveillance video from the store showed this person in his postal uniform presenting the cards for sale on June 12, 2021. So now we're going to the
Wow.
dumb crook news.
Wow. Wow.
The person who was supposed to receive the packages contained the Durant cards, then identified this person as his mail carrier.
Yeah, so that'd be the
So
carrier. Yeah, the carrier. So it wasn't in the distribution center. I was saying because if it was in the distribution center, like they have to have, and then, like you said, Val, like yeah, who would be watching the cameras if it was in the distribution center? But there's got to be a million cameras in those centers. So as a carrier, he would have the ability if that's who type of person he was.
So reading this was major because because of the serial numbers on the cards, and the postal inspector and them, and the video footage from the card shop and stuff. It was to piece all this together. It's
Right.
pretty good. Good detective work there.
And that almost goes to another thing, like, and it'll never happen, but a way like obviously any serial numbered card, right? Any graded card, as long as somebody who were to steal it didn't crack it out of the case or something, right? Would have some type of identifications. But what about getting to a point where maybe everything is got a number to it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's stolen, if it shows up at any shop or anything, it can be like anything, like things that have, serial numbers, VIN numbers, etc., where they plug in the system and it's you can put it in like lost or stolen or whatever, and then if it gets to a shop can verify or check that, and then that it would be a lot more work, obviously, for whatever, and it would eliminate I guess, well, you could still have, you'd still have your 101s, you'd still have your 10s, you'd still have whatever. You just have all the other ones that are not a low serial numbered card, to 20,000, a million, whatever it may be, the serial numbers. But, who knows, man? Like, it would actually be a way to track it if it wasn't graded or already a serial numbered card.
Well, PSA is fingerprinting cards now, so they know if you crack a card and send it back in, they know that it's been cracked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they can also be identified that way now. So even if somebody cracks one out and then says, they buy it from somebody else and say, hey, I'm going to send this into PSA. Well, PSA is going to get it, and chances are that cert number has already been flagged at PSA, because my cert number for my card is flagged there. So if they get any inquiries about that, they're gonna know.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes now, and
Yeah.
I think that's all good. But still, people stealing. My wife the other night, she said, "Well, how do they know what packages to steal? Does it say PSA on it?" I said, "Well, no, it says Collector's Universe, but." I mean, there's an address, and all you got to do is Google the address and see where it's from.
Right.
I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out, okay, hey, this is a graded card. Maybe it's worth something. Maybe I'll take that card,
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things like sending cards to get graded, right? My biggest always fear is to PSA and back from PSA.
Right.
Because I mean, if you have nowadays, as cards have escalated, right, a few $1,000s, how do you send 10, 15, $20,000 worth of cards to PSA, Beckett, SGC?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then because you can't insure it for that. I don't think they even insure up to that much. And then
Right.
getting it back from PSA is a different story, because they are whatever, with Logan, right, self-insured or whatever. So
yeah,
but
PSA self-insured.
and they know the value of the cards and everything else. So, but getting it there and trying to talk with the postmaster, or whatever, say you lost a package, and this card's worth $15,000 or whatever it is, and then trying to have to prove that and everything else to get that
Right.
reimbursed. So
Yeah, I like what John Keating says. Government employees and accountability are polar opposites. Damn, that is absolutely correct. It seems
Yep.
like these days, especially. I don't think it used to be that way, but it's just gone that way, I think.
yeah, I mean, with everybody trying to hire employees and everything else, and just trying to keep good employees, and just that whole government post office and stuff, we all know and heard the comments. So
Stories.
yeah.
Yep.
So good morning, Brody.
Hey, Brody. John, I love your comments, man. You're cracking me up.
what's funny too, and I'll share a little story on the day side. We talk about people doing, like, basically it's fraud or fraud theft or whatever over a certain dollar amount. So there was a time where the company I work for on the day side, we sell like powertrain products, so remanufactured transmissions, transfer cases, engines. And we do run into occasion where there is someone who steals somebody's information, has everything correct, etc., has all the right information, calls us and orders some, and we ship out and we sell nationwide, right? So the only thing we can do is rely on, we have to get all the exact address information, the card information, the name, all that has to match when they process, or when our company processes that information. Well, it was about it was a little over an $8,000 transaction. It was actually a diesel engine, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. But we literally had apparently the customer whose card it actually was, like, probably checking his stuff, whatever, got an alert of a transaction, but it wasn't until days later reach out to us and go, hey, I'm just letting you guys know that this, whatever was purchased with my credit card, my card was stolen. So this is not me. So hopefully you guys haven't delivered this product yet or whatever. You can put a stop to it. So we immediately, because he'd already contacted his credit card company to charge back. So we immediately got with the carrier, like tracked it to see where that it was going to be delivered like later that day, but it hadn't been delivered yet. So we called the local authorities in that city, that town, and said, look, we've had a customer reach out to us where his card was stolen. This is over an $8,000 transaction. We know where this is going to be delivered to. Would you guys be interested in, showing up if we send this thing out and be delivered? And they basically told them that they're not, we're not going to waste our time doing it. So we literally basically called the carrier, told the driver, turn it around and bring it back to us. And then we had the guy that apparently bought it calling, going, what's going on? I thought my engine was being delivered today. Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, no, man, the actual owner of the card that you stole was already in contact with us. Things coming back to us, and he hung up on us. Now, one more thing to throw at you here is we're just dealing with, this is now current. We're just dealing with one where it was a like a 3.0 liter gas engine. Transaction was like just around $3,000. Well, we get chargebacks on occasion, where either a customer will try to dispute something or try to pull a fast one or whatever. And they literally, they sent the chargeback in and they said that it was fraud, like it was stolen or a stolen credit card. But here's the funny thing. The engine was delivered to the address of the actual person and the card holder's address. So everything they didn't deliver it to a business. They didn't have it shipped anywhere else. They literally had it shipped. And we even looked it up. The name of the person, the address, everything matches. It's a legit place. We knew that. That's where it was delivered to. It was even signed for, and somebody could forge somebody's signature with the customer's name, the cardholder's name. And it was delivered, and we got signed confirmation, delivered, and everything. If you're a criminal and you stole somebody's information identity and you were having something shipped, would you have it shipped to the address of the person that you stole the information from and receive it, especially a big engine off a big semi?
No.
I mean, the likelihood of that is so tiny. I mean,
It's like, I wonder why.
You would have to risk the actual card holder being there while you receive an engine at their house, which why would there be a truck coming here delivering an engine, and why are they receiving it at my house? And then notice and realize that, I have a transaction of $3,000 that I didn't charge.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this truck waiting there?
Just doesn't really add up at all. Nothing adds up. So
maybe his son ordered it by mistake.
That's it, right? The kid.
Yeah, by mistake, but never reached out or refused it or anything. He just took delivery, received it, signed for it. We're good to go. Everything's fine.
My son got my phone, and he ordered this by mistake.
Yeah, and received it off the truck, and we just decided not to let anybody know. We're just going to keep it, but we're not taking the charge. Yeah, good times. Tom, good morning.
And welcome everybody in the chat.
And the neighbor.
Kenton card collector. Yeah, in California, cops don't care about theft. They're shorthanded. They basically say, let the insurance handle it. I can see that in a way, but it's still sad that it's come to that where you can't investigate. I mean, like my card was $1,500. I'm sure, that's in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal anymore. But to me, it was. But I guess I can understand that.
For NASCAR, that's massive.
Yeah. That's like the top.
Yeah, like I said, it was a white whale, and it was 1,500. So that's why I love NASCAR. It's what?
So he's deep six. That card is deep six now.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw was, and I don't know if how you guys feel about this one, but the Topps Living set. It looks like Topps is doing well with that, with the Wander Franco with almost a little over 68,000 cards.
Yeah, that's a record for the Topps Living set. That's the most cards that they've ever had orders for, and that they're going to have a print run of.
That's amazing. I know, like with them, I do some of the F1s, whatever. And I think there was that max for stopping was close to 50,000, but that was him winning the championship. But this is just regular Wander Franco. So
Well, I mean, do you think that there's a lot of FOMO going on? Do you think it's investment? Do you think it's greed? I mean, what do you think is
it's
going on there?
I don't know. I guess it's the flippers and the FOMO but when I was on the other week, I had Chris was on with me, Chris Harris, and he said he was doing some of that back of the napkin math, and that Series One is like 700,000 of each card. So 700 Series One Wanda Franco's the 68,000 look kind of small compared to that, right? Less than
Right.
10% of that. So I guess time will tell. And of course, is he the next, you know, Tim Trout or Mike Trout?
Tim Trout, yeah. Hey, Tim Trout, if you're listening,
Tim Trout.
Mike Trout. See, I'm the NASCAR guy, so a Trout is Tim Trout, not Mike Trout. So anyway, so I was trying to think of some great baseball player, Mickey Mantle, Barry Bonds, and I was like, well, maybe not Barry Bonds, but uh,
well, in comparison, I'm looking at it right now. In fact, I did a little spreadsheet and sorted that. The Mike Trout, the print run on that was only 22,017 cards. So you're talking, over 3 times the amount for Wander Franco. So that's pretty impressive. So there's a lot riding on Wander Franco's shoulders here. So he's going to have to perform and make everybody happy.
yeah. So
Right.
Bo was there. He said he very well could be the next Tim Trout.
Right, Bo? Right? Exactly.
So we will find out.
That's a
But yeah,
good
I
one,
guess
Bo.
yeah, we got a great crowd, great comments here.
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
Uh,
And I
Love
like
you
I like
guys.
the 70s. We missed the 70s one too. He said 37 minutes in, and we finally mentioned Wander's name, a possible 2022 record. Yeah.
Well, you got 2 NASCAR guys, so it takes us. And I know the mail is more dear to
Oh yeah.
us than the other stuff. But yeah, so yeah, all this Wander hype. So, but I thought Bardo Cologne, whatever, was one of the bigger ones. Um, but I don't remember the print run for him.
Big
As a Met fan,
Sexy?
when he hit that home run or whatever, I guess he had
Oh,
a,
Big
a
Sexy, yeah.
yeah. So I thought it was like 49,000 or something back then.
yeah,
But
the Acuna was the print run on that was 46,809. I've got that, and that's
Bro,
from
this
I got
is
that from Beckett.
20,000 more. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
Tops Living
crazy.
said, yeah, is doing well. So, or I guess that was the big one for them until I guess whenever baseball starts up, right? So who else can they uh, tout now? I guess they jumped on that while it's hot. So
yeah. The lowest the lowest print run in that whole Tops Living set is Shane McClanahan with a mere 1,197 cards,
and what
Yeah,
card number is he?
466. So
Okay,
it's not
the
that, so it's
Rays
not that long
pitcher
ago.
for the Rays.
Hmm.
wow.
But there you go. It's a pitcher. That's always my stance in
So what did everybody think about the tops? The inch was it like NC Strummett or whatever they want to call them? Tops had and Fanatics was there, and that they're going to be making tennis cards and some
They're
of the
gonna
other
make
things.
any card, it's just gonna keep anything, And we already got they came out with that influencer and celebrity set that they put out, like a bunch of like big YouTuber, Twitch influencers with celebrities as well. I mean, they got a set out of that I see sold and breakers, break-in. You can get autos of different influencers, possibilities. I mean, anything and everything they're gonna make cards of. I mean, it's the way it's gonna be, man.
Yeah, I guess they'll be coming a hobby hotline line of cards for the national, right? So
Yeah.
Hobby Hotline
Yep.
series. Yep.
somebody loves Bella there.
Yeah, that's my dog Bella. You guys just saw. She's real sweet. Good dog.
And then, of
Um,
course, could be wearing a wire, so be careful.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, at that Tops Industry Conference, they did uh, give away, I guess, in their swag bags, a little cello 3-card pack of Formula One cards, which apparently are pretty hot right now, pretty high in demand.
Yeah, I haven't checked eBay. We talked about it on our show, and Ivan had posted a picture of them in that swag bag. To Logan's point, there was a clear 3-card. It looks so the Topps flagship F1 dropped, just regular paper, not chrome or nothing like that. And so it's basically the same image, except for it's got the industry, I guess, Summit logo on it, whatever. So I haven't checked to see what the price is going for, but that was kind of a surprise, I guess. Always forget about those to have those giveaways or whatever. I need to make one of those shows, or of course, don't need an excuse to go to Vegas, but
Yeah.
Of course, it should be in Vegas now because the race is happening this weekend too. So I guess if they do that next year, Logan, we got to go. If they have the industry summit and then stay for the next weekend and have the race there, I mean,
Well, that's a no-brainer, man. We got to go.
yeah, all right. So
Maybe
That'd be
get some great
awesome.
cards. So, talking about the F1, it's been a little over a week ago that the F1 blaster boxes dropped at Walmart. And these things I've got one right here. These things are hot. I mean, they're $20 if you can find them at Walmart. I literally went to at least 15 or 16 different Walmarts in my area and only found one Walmart that had 3 boxes.
yeah,
And
if anybody sees them, it's worth the 20. 2 thumbs up
Grab
from
'em.
NASCAR Radio. Yeah, they're people are getting a lot of extra parallels or beating the odds, as well as they have relics in them. Um, I don't remember the numbers off the bat, but it's like I got two gold cards, or golden, so gold's out of 50 and the orange is out of 25, and a relic all out of one. I think it was out of one box, which is like astronomical hits. So, and then we got Topps F1 Chrome dropping in 4 days, and then 2022 Donruss is dropping in 11 days. So
Donna's
for
race.
racing fans, Donruss Racing, NASCAR, yeah. So for racing fans, this is this is a great month.
Yeah, we're having a
Yeah.
great time. Yeah, I went out to a few Walmarts on my way home yesterday and didn't find any cars. I mean, I saw where some new things had dropped. There was like I think Mosaic football and a few odds and end things. Of course, everything is available now because the prices are they've increased the retail prices on everything.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron, for hitting the like button there this morning. Yeah, actually, I was hitting the Walmart yesterday, waiting for hoping for a restock of F1. And usually they come earlier in the day. So, I was getting off work and I was like, well, let me just go by and see. And sure enough, I must have missed him by 10 minutes, but the guy was there. Another guy was there who was there when the person stocking the Walmart and basically said that she's mixing it up, changing her times that she's going there.
That's good.
Yeah. And I thought that was great. There was no F1, but there was like everything else. So he was looking at the backs of the Chronicles basketball, checking those out, and not necessarily feeling for inserts or nothing, but just kind of looking to see what was on the back. But there's another lady. There's a lady there that was older, and she was kind of looking for stuff, and says she's been acquiring stuff. And um, but to your point, Logan, I mean, everything was there, so it
Yeah,
was nice to
something
see.
else that I saw too at these Walmarts are the I guess it's 2021 baseball, the hobby mega boxes. I don't know if anybody has been seeing those, but I've seen a ton of those all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah. So I the last few times I've been at Walmart's, honestly, just getting stuff. And I went a stretch there for quite a while where I wouldn't even really look at the card aisle, to be honest with you. I would go to the store to get what I needed to get, and I knew, it was that time when everything was always going to be wiped out. But lately, I've been like, I'm seeing people post pictures of stuff, stocks, shells, whatever. And the last time I was in there, actually, it's not licensed baseball, but they did have optic megas, so I did grab an optic mega, and I mean, I pulled a nice little Bo Bichette auto out of that mega
Wow.
too, which is nice. But I saw the time before that, like a week or two before that, they had like the NBA, the Flux, like the NBA Flux mega boxes. I mean, they're they're starting to have, and you see it. You see people posting pictures on social media everywhere. You know, their Walmarts or their Targets are stocked or they're almost full. I mean, so but the price tags are obviously, like we knew, we're changing as they've changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Flux Mega was like $80.
Wow.
See, I didn't even look at the price because, and I figured something was up with that because I've seen that literally almost at every Walmart I've been to.
Right.
And it's like
Yeah.
Val and I were talking about. Even the NASCAR Prism is $35 a box, which is at least $15 more than it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the
Yep.
value is just not there for $35, and it's literally all over the shelves everywhere around me.
Yep.
You can pick them up all day long if you want.
Yep. Yeah. Most blasters for most products are at least $30 in the stores on just about any product. There's some that are still sitting around 20, depending upon what it is. But yeah, you're probably talking at least 30 megas, 50 to 80, depending upon the product from what I've seen. So
Yeah, that's why I was surprised about the F1 being only $20. I couldn't believe that. I thought they would at least 25 or probably 30. So,
mhm.
And people I've been tracking some sales on eBay, and those things are selling like hotcakes for $50 to $60 a box. So I can see why
Right.
people are out trying to grab these things.
Yeah.
Well, in Logan, we've seen it in the F1 chats and Facebook groups where they're saying don't buy the hobby boxes, buy the blasters, spend the money even on the elevated prices that you're going to get more inserts. And because in the relics in the hobby boxes, one per box, and boxes are about $450, and you can these boxes blasters seem to be loaded right now compared to the
They
hobby
do.
boxes. Um, so everybody's going after the blasters, which has been a great surprise, and everybody's looking for them. So, but foul five ball. I don't know. Maybe you'll get some retail now that things are starting to come back a little bit. So, and of course, the 70s card show there, vote with your wallets, which is
Hmm.
definite.
Well, talking about hits, Val and I did a video. We each opened up a blaster, and Val hit a couple of gold cards, but I hit a gold and I hit an orange out of 25, which was a Max Verstappen. This came out. This is his base card out of that set, and this
Yeah,
came
I
out
mean,
of the blaster box. It's
you you
unbelievable.
you hit like one of the top 10, top 5 cards, and or top 5% or top 1% of cards in that, with hitting that number to 25 Max Verstappen. I can't believe it. So I know it took you a few hours to go to all your different Walmarts around around your state there, but I think it paid off.
Yeah, I think it was worth it. I mean, even though that was the only one I hit, it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, Blasters over hobby, definitely on the
Yeah.
F1. So
Yeah, and even like on for the hobby stuff, like even like for NBA, like Mosaic, like from all the stuff I've ripped, and I've ripped a lot of hobby boxes, I've ripped a lot of retail boxes, megas. I mean, megas on the NBA, like Mosaic, they seem to be, I'm seeing more Genesis pulled from mega boxes in NBA, and I'm seeing more just low numbered stuff being pulled. I mean, I've pulled them well, Mannion's not even in the league right now for Golden State. Rookie Genesis out of one of my megas I got from Target. And then the other night I pulled a Cole Anthony Genesis out of another mega for someone else. And I also pulled a Shaq, like the Hall of Fame insert, numbered to 10. And those numbered to 10s out of a retail mega box. Those numbered to 10s are harder to pull than a Genesis is, in my opinion, in the Mosaic product in general. So again, I've seen this in a lot of different products. Like a lot of people maybe hate or don't like the retail product, but I see more and more stuff getting pulled out of these megas, hanger boxes, blasters, than the hobby boxes at times. So just keep that in mind.
So, talking about all this, what about 2022 Topps Baseball Series 1? I've noticed that stuff it's going pretty, flying off the shelves pretty well around me. Everywhere I go, I may see maybe one box here, one box there, but for the most part, that stuff seems to be flying off the shelf. I guess everybody's wonder hunting.
Well, I think with the flagship, that's what you want, right? That's that introductory
Yep.
product where hopefully that everybody can get. And I know people are speculating and stuff like that, and I guess we all did, back in the day, whatever. But having some of that appreciated is great, but as long as folks can get it, I think that's a great thing for people to get into the hobby. And they have got that line of 70 years worth of sets or whatever. So I'm glad that people at least can get it.
Yeah, me too. And I agree with you. I think if there's one product that needs to be available to the masses, that the flagship product of any sport should be the one that should be available. Because you want the collectors to be able to find something. I mean, save all the high dollar stuff for your national treasures or those kind of products. Just go ahead and print. I mean, I'm not saying make this the junk wax era again, but at least print enough and do some forecasting and print enough to where everybody has a chance.
Right.
So one thing else that came out is that Fanatics promises hobby shops are going to be part of the company's growth strategy. I don't know if you saw that I know this is a little bit old here, but that they're going to kind of guarantee that every segment of the industry that exists today will continue. So I know this is I don't say a turbulent time, but I guess there's a lot of unknowns, and that is it. David Adams is getting ready to open that shop up with Topps
in
so
Cooperstown.
Yeah, I think that's like an enhanced. They call it what is the exact wordage on it?
Hybrid or a
enhanced hobby store program. That's it's in quotes here. Topps, under the new direction of Fanatics, plans to launch an enhanced hobby store program sometime in the next 30 to 90 days, according to Luber. And he didn't elaborate on what that entails. But I did see, I think it was on Twitter that David Adams was, getting closer to that opening. So,
Or do you think that the distributors may have something to worry about with Fanatics selling model? I mean, are they going to
I
go
think
direct
that's
to
an
hobby
issue.
shops?
I think that's a problem for the hobby. I think, like when we see it in with F1, right? The boxes were 125 on Topps and Topps UK, and then they were 500, 600 from the big distributors, right? And then your hobby shop actually had a better deal, right? At 400 or something.
Yep.
But if you're, and again, the big three, I'm assuming is through those distributors. So I'm hoping that they fix that problem. So I don't know, Jeff, what you think about that, or
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much where you stand on it. I mean, I don't really.
well, I mean, I don't know if maybe you can
get.
get to go to your local lids or go to your Dick's Sporting Goods or open it up to more places to get stuff. I just saw today actually it was on Twitter. Best Buy is selling cards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can. It's crazy. I mean, even like I think I brought this up before, but this was like months and months and months ago. But I was in a CVS, because I had to pick up some ibuprofen or something or whatever, and I was just in there quick, and I just stopped in with no thoughts of sports cards, nothing. It was a CVS, and I was literally at the counter checking out, and as I was checking out, my eyes just looked behind, like there was like this shelf of other stuff, and at the top shelf there was like 2 blasters of football cards, and I was like, "You guys sell sports cards?" They're like, yeah, well, I mean, we got a couple here, up here, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And they were $20. I grabbed them, there was 2 of them. but I had no idea CVS did. You hear more and more. I mean, the Barnes and Nobles has been out for a long time, right? Check your Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles is carrying sports cards. CVS is carrying sports cards. I mean, yeah, I think more and more companies and more businesses are trying to branch off because of the popularity and the demand that they've gotten for them now. So, yeah.
Yeah, did you see that Brody was out on a road trip and he stopped at a Walgreens? And I don't know if you saw that picture that he had of that big display of all the fat packs and things. Plus, they had supplies and stuff there as well.
Yeah,
Do you guys have Five Belows too? I think Five Below
I do.
sometimes has
we do
cards.
too. I've not
Sometimes.
checked, but I will
I've
check.
never been there.
Sometimes it's usually like in the past. I know they've had it was like a year or two ago. They had like the Donruss football, like the fat pack of Donruss football, like $5. But I've seen other people, and I want to say it was a Five Below that had like the optic basketball, like 1920 or 21, a while back. So yeah, you just never know these days. I mean, check in any store you're in, I guess, is to see if they got any cards because they might be there. Yeah, you highlighted on the Canton card. That's what I was kind of looking at earlier. Do
Which
any of
one?
your local card shop sell packs or only boxes? So pretty much any of the card shops we have around me, which I have 3 or 4 now. Well, I have 4 now within like a 40-mile radius. Every one of them give you the option of packs or buying boxes. All of them. So you can buy hobby packs. They'll have a box open, and you can buy packs if you want individually, or you can buy boxes from them. What about you guys? Are your guys' LCSs that same way, or are they box only?
Mine are. I have two. The big one. Well, both of them do that same thing. You can buy packs or you can buy the boxes, which is a good thing because I've been into one of my LCSs, the really big one that we have, and there'll be kids coming in. I'll probably go there today later on, but they'll be there on Saturday and they'll be there with their dad or whatever, and they'll say, "Dad, can I get a couple of packs?" And and they'll get them. And man, they're excited. They bust them right there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you got to have that. You can't just have $100, $200, $300, $400 just for a box, because some kid's gonna look at that and go, "Oh my God, there's no way that my dad's gonna let me buy this."
Right. Yep. You want to
Yeah.
make a kid's day when you're in a card shop. And, I've seen this happen before where, a couple little boys with like their mom and she has no clue, whatever. You want to make a kid's day, you got a couple extra bucks, buy a kid or a couple kids a pack or 2 of cards and say, hey, here you go. And it's to see them light up and get excited, it's just, it's awesome. So, yep.
Yeah, we have shout out to Grand Slam in my LCS in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and they sell them by packs and box, and it's changed hands a few times, but it's been around since the mid '80s, so
yeah,
they have a pretty good selection of stuff. I'm not sure about this one here about thoughts of buy or hold retail boxes. I guess it all depends on what it is and stuff. I don't know. I was gonna bring it up, but really haven't brought up in the conversation about right now the way everything and inflation and gas and discretionary income about you know what to spend your money on, or if you can spend money on cards. So I wanted to know. I meant to ask everybody in the chat, what they thought. Are they buying? They're holding? They're just kind of pausing, or um, with gas $4 or more a gallon, depending on where you live, you need gas for your car if you're
it could be
driving. So
5, soon. Who knows?
right, and
Who
that's not
knows?
including the inflation and stuff we had on all your groceries and everything else.
Right.
So if anybody in the chat, let me know. You still spending like you were spending before? You pausing? You holding? Or the Brody says he's not.
Yeah, Brody's holding. He's not doing anything right now.
He had that beautiful display where he was at. If that was 6 months ago, hey, does he buy it all?
Right.
Yeah, that was amazing. They had some. They didn't have. They had like some third party, like what Brody was saying. They had some third party magnetics and some some card sleeves and things like that. That's what they had. It wasn't your name brand stuff. It was more generic, but at least they did have some kind of supplies that you could buy.
Yeah. Well, and even when I've been in the Walmarts now with the stock on everything, I know they've always carried some supplies, but literally it used to be only like the like the penny sleeves and like the 500 count or whatever. They had like a 2,000 count, stacks of them too, the 500 or 2,000, like 2,000 penny sleeves, like packed up from the Ultra Pros. They had the one touches, they had tons of binders, tons of stacks of pages. I mean, I'd never seen so many supplies in my local Walmart before. I was just in there last week. Just crazy.
I'm still trying to find supplies for the booklets. I picked up a Jimmy Johnson there with the Twitter and the Facebook logo.
You have to get a specific one touch for it. They make them. They should make them though. It's they call it a I think it's, what do they call it? The horizontal. Well, that wouldn't be like the yeah.
Vertical.
I don't know. It's kind of an oddball. That one's an oddball. A lot of times and sometimes they'll open like long way, like so it's.
Yeah, so and I got one of those, and because I bought the wrong one or whatever it was, so trying to some supplies that seem like are tougher to find than others. So
yeah,
there's still a shortage on supplies right now.
Yep. I'm calling out sick. Save money on gas. Buy more cards.
To buy more cards. That's what I hear you.
There you go.
Yeah, and who do you work for, Canton Card Collector?
Yeah.
So Foul Five Ball, yeah, he can't find anything at retail, so he'd buy cards if he could find them, but he don't buy online. Yeah, I was trying to buy F1 on Walmart site, and so they had the page there marked. So I was waiting. It's like, all right, let me check it, every day to see when, because they're going to be coming since they had the page, and then when I see them, they're like $80, and they're sold by a third party, and then there were 59 or whatever it was, and then they disappeared. So now I don't know what happened with those. Maybe somebody just bought everything the Walmart had or whatever, but.
The 70s. He's joining the post office. They pay for the gas, and I collect at the same time.
Don't want to advocate that, yeah. Or of course, it could be serving up to 5 years, but yeah.
We need to get the 70s card show on a show sometime, man. That's great. If he can bring that same kind of humor live.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've heard John on some of Dr. Beckett's podcast. He's spot on. I love John.
That's awesome. Shout out to you, buddy, man. Made my day today. Aaron says, with all the retail locations and base card productions, do you believe we are back in the junk wax era, 88 to 91, etc.? I mean, I think there's always a lot of that talk, right? There's always a lot of that mass print again. So I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts?
I don't think we're there yet. This whole thing with Fanatics wanting to, print more, because you're going to have to print more. So either distributors are sitting on a lot of product and it's not getting out, or they're going to have to increase more product to fill these other chains, that distribution chains that they want to bring cards to everybody and make it so. I don't know. I guess it all goes back to supply and demand. I mean, if you print 1 million cards and 2 million people want cards, then
Right.
or if you print 1 million cards and only 500,000 people want cards, so
Right.
it's hard. And with this lead time, and because like with the F1, not to go back to it, but it should have been out last July, and it only dropped earlier this month. And even if you look on the box, it says you can send in for your free chance at stuff at the same ratios or whatever. And that drawing was held back in November. So the cards just released, this month. So everything's been printed a long time ago. So there's that long lead time. And so how do these companies decide, how do they get that right where they produce enough one way or the other? So I don't know if it's necessarily you can put a number on. I guess it's all supply and demand. And if their rookies get hot or not hot and nobody wants it, or so I guess, I'm thinking like the 89 stuff where you have Ken Griffey and some of these great rookies, and we have the same thing in some early NASCAR stuff, but they just made so much of it that it's just not being consumed. So it's a hard job, and for whoever's figuring it out. So I don't know what you think, Logan or Jeff, but
I think Fanatics, they're pretty data driven. I mean, they know how many people are buying their products. They know what customers
Yeah.
are buying. They're going to be driven by the analytics, and they're going to be driven by the data. I think they're going to be able to pretty much hone in on exactly what print run they're going to need for a particular, type of card or sport or whatever. I think they're going to do I think from that respect, I think they're going to do a very good job.
so I just had an idea what you were talking. Like, do we go back? So instead of 2 series, do we go to 5 series? Do we go to so now
Oh,
so
don't
now 10
don't
series?
do this.
Well, no, but you
No,
can print on demand though.
no, I know.
So now you can kind of weave that. Okay, more people want this, less people want
It's
this.
gonna be this update series, series 2, series 2 update, series 3, series 3 update, series 4,
No, it's going to
series
be
4 update.
update 1, update or A, update B.
No,
So,
I'm just kidding. I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
no, I know, but I'm saying,
continue the masses of productions.
but are we stuck in old way of thinking, right? So we're going to go to print one time and we're going to print the whole thing, right? So that's how they got, used to be 792 cards all in one printing, and then we got into, okay, we're going to break it into 2 series and an update. Well, we got the update. So I, I don't know.
So John, yeah, in the 70s, John said junk wax era was the first time the average collector got into the investment angle. We bought pack and then suddenly we're able to buy cases. It was a strange time, right? And then he also saying buying cases of boxes and factory sets was a new phenomenon to the average collector, right?
So everybody was going to buy this stuff to, save for their kids' retirement. But then the problem is when everybody goes to sell at one time,
Yeah.
and if we start to hit a recession or whatever it is, does everybody try to sell? And then when everybody's selling and no one's buying, everybody's
Yeah.
trying to undercut everybody. So, you know, you know, with the Zion rookies, what are they going for? And so, I don't know what the answer is. I guess the smarter people than me, but
You're talking about that junk wax era. We used to have Donruss here in Memphis, right? And our LCS, he's always telling me stories of all these former execs that worked at Donruss that come into the shop with cases of everything from the 90s and the late 80s, trying to sell them to him. And he says, I'm not going to buy it because, first of all, it's not worth what you think, and secondly, there's just too much, and I can't take all this and sell it all. I mean, he says it's unreal what people are bringing him. I mean, cases of like 1991 Donruss. I mean, cases that these execs had.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Sam's Club, Canton says Costco was selling cases of cards in the junk wax era. Yeah. And I remember going to what was it when I was a younger kid? Like this was
Ace or
80,
Sam's?
86, 87. Yeah, like the Sam's Club or whatever. And you always know when you see them, like now when people are selling them still and they have them, they got that big black marker box across the top, like the 86
Oh, the X outs.
football and the 85 and whatever.
So
I
those
remember
were,
getting like a case or not a case, but I'd buy a box, like a full box from them, because you get them cheap of like I remember the 86 Topps football. The best, like going there when that time when they had them, like with the Jerry Rice and Steve Young rookies, and oh man,
yeah, I guess it was the way the model that they would let those shops have those, and then they would also buy back whatever wasn't sold, and then so when they came in the Tops would run those markers across them, and then they would discount them to other stuff because can't remember exactly the story, but there was somebody who would go and just load up on that stuff.
My buddy Tom T was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in here, but I don't remember what company it was he bought, but he bought a bunch of cases of different cards back when. And if he's still in here, maybe he can tell us in the chat what company it was. But he's still got a bunch of that stuff. Like he literally's got a bunch of it that he didn't rip through. I mean, he's good at like not ripping everything, gorilla ripping everything. I always give him crap because I'm like, Tom, if you ever get me near your cards, man, like it's gonna be a heyday, dude. I'm gonna try to push you to rip. I don't know how he does it, but I mean, he's got tons and tons of that older stuff, just boxes of it, probably cases and some stuff. So
he's got some self-control.
Yeah.
back in the day, Larry Fritch was the one that was buying all that stuff from Tops, and that's
That's
up in your neck of the woods, Jeff. He
Yeah.
was from like what, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, or wherever, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, right. I'm just not far from the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Yeah. It's not that far. It's a couple hours.
And
And of course, they had that stuff at my Pace or Sam's. They had all the 87 baseball, 88, 89. Of course, I didn't buy any of the 89 score football. So I still remember it. I can close my eyes. I can see that, there were like 5 cases of that stuff uh, back in the day. And of course,
Yeah.
nobody wanted it. So that's why that stuff's so much. But
Right. We are in overtime. We're beyond where we
oh,
10
yeah,
minutes
would.
into
time
overtime.
flies here.
Hobby
So,
overtime,
I'll
baby.
be hotline overtime.
yeah, so I
And
don't
and
know.
before whenever the time is done, I don't have to rush anywhere. But before the time is done, I do want to hear your guys' picks on the race this weekend. Who you guys got?
I've got Kyle Busch to win in Las Vegas. That's his hometown. He wants to win there really, really bad. Plus, I'm always picking Kyle Busch, it seems like, anyway. But I think, especially since it's Las Vegas, go Kyle freaking Busch.
Wow,
Kyle
you went
freaking
way
Busch.
out there with
He's not gonna get in a fight, is he? Or he's not gonna do something and go get in a fist fight with someone after the fight or after the race.
not Kyle
Val,
Busch.
we got
Man, in Las Vegas, you got to go with Kyle Busch. I guess I go with Kurt Busch, but um, I don't know. I think Larson maybe. We'll change it up a little bit. See if he's still red hot.
he is just on a tear, man. He is just on a tear, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's
a phenom right now. He is right now in the Cup Series. He is the best driver by far.
Well, so there was a video that Kenny Wallace had done on Twitter about how to get sponsorship, right? Because he gets, I guess, asked a lot how you get sponsorship, and so he's talking about the 99.9% of the time, you just have to network or whatever. He said, he gets people to come up and say their kids are really great and they've won all this stuff, or whatever. But he said there's only 1% of the people that are Kyle Larson and Jeff Gordon. He said gifts from God. So I'll use his thing. So Kyle Larson, he's one of those talents where most of the time, if you're driving, drivers have to bring sponsorship or have some kind of deal or whatever. But in the rare case, sometimes a team will sign a driver without sponsorship, and Kyle Larson was one of those with Chip Ganassi, and and then Hendrick took him over when Ganassi let him go and he was cleared to come back. So um, Kyle Larson is an amazing talent. So
Nice.
So yeah, that's my pick for Sunday's race.
I was just looking at the comments. Anything else?
Well, John said he sold 8 vending cases of 1989 tops last summer, way more than he paid for just a month earlier.
Yeah.
So during
the pandemic, junk wax was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now everybody's speculating on everything, and but you know what though? But as these folks come back in the hobby, right, they're getting stuff that they had as a kid, right, and opening and getting that feeling, like Jeff, like you mentioned, to give a kid a pack of cards, whatever, and
Yeah.
to see their face. And so for some people, yeah, I spend $20-$30 for a box, but then I'm reliving my childhood. Remember, when you were saying this, I definitely remember opening like 90 or 91 tops, and tops back then, the flagship would come out in December, and I was able to try to work on putting a set together before even the start of the new year. So
yeah,
again,
I mean, there's nothing like it, man. Like watching, either ripping it, and for me, even like it's just a calming, soothing thing. Like I'll even just sit and, like, after work or whatever, before I go to bed, I'll watch some breaks or watch videos of people ripping packs. There's just something to it, man. There's just something to watch, to ripping and watching packs ripped. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, like when I go into my LCS, I like watching people bust things as much as me busting them myself.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's why people love the break videos.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess we can leave it there.
Yeah, I want to do a quick shout out to our buddy Brad, former former Hobby Hotline colleague and just say, "Skid marks, buddy."
Yeah. One of the iconic press pass insert sets.
Oh, I love it.
Great
Love
name.
it.
Yep.
I want to shout out everybody here, but I want to especially shout out John, the 70s Card Show, man. You absolutely made my morning. Like, I needed some good laughs, and you brought it, buddy. So I appreciate y'all, but man, special shout out to you this morning.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, John. Everybody in the chat for
Thanks, everybody.
making the show. We do
Yeah.
it for you guys and just to kind of talk cards like we talked about with in the LCS and go in and spend a few hours talking about cards, talking about sports and everything else. So appreciate
Yep.
everybody who joined us today. So and then on
Yep.
Tuesday there'll be a new group of Hotline guests here to at 9 p.m. Eastern to talk cards and sports. So.
Yep. Awesome.
Anything else, Jeff, or where people can find you or anything?
Yeah, just Deafness 45 on YouTube, at I am Deafness 45 on Twitter or on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, I do my own things on my channel, and then I also I do break on Thursday nights with Triple Diamond Sports Breaks at tdsbreaks.com. So,
Yep, check them out. And
Yep.
Logan,
At King NASCAR on Twitter and Instagram, Logan Ward on YouTube, and you can check me along with Val and Jason on NASCAR Radio.
yep, you can find me at NASCAR Radio on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and check out the podcast. Drops on Fridays about auto racing, trading cards, F1, IndyCar, and NASCAR. So, but for me and the guys, thanks for joining us this morning, and hope you guys have a great Saturday weekend. And I guess go Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson. So
go Kyle.